What is good with the YouTube? It is your boy Sean Rock to the aka Lil Nicky V6. Represent Mandatory Thrive HGBM because every day it is mandatory for us to thrive. And I'm back again with another video. And in this video, we're going to talk about foundational, elite, right, and intermediate bodyweight training. And why this training modality needs more teaching, more philosophy behind it. So we just gonna write on the board bodyweight training. So what are the bare essentials of bodyweight training, right? So I have 4 moves that I like to pick for the basis of bodyweight training. Now, of course, there's a variety of different moves, but these moves are the ones that I find to be the most essential. So number 1, pull-ups. Pull-ups. Now, pull-ups. If you can't do pull-ups, you can start with inverted rows, or you can do a modified pull-up. What is a modified pull-up? A pull-up where you get on a bar that's lower, right, and you utilize your legs to help push you up. So pull-ups, to me, is the epitome of back movements. What you're working is the latissimus dorsi, the biceps. You even get a little activation of the triceps. If you squeeze correctly, you can get a little bit of activation of the calves and the glutes as well. So the most foundational move is pull-ups. Number 2, push-ups. Why would I pick push-ups over dips? Well, push-ups, you can do push-ups in more places than dips, right? If you don't have a dip bar, you can still do push-ups. And push-ups has a lot of variations, and it's easier for you to modify. Also, the push-up focuses and emphasizes a little bit more on the chest, which is a bigger muscle than the triceps. And yes, I do know that dips hit the chest probably just as much, but still, once again, push-ups has more variations. You can make this move very, very hard or very, very easy in a matter of seconds. So we're gonna go with push-ups. All right. So number 3, leg raises. All right, leg raises. The reason why I pick leg raises is because leg raises is a core movement, but the benefit of this core movement is that it activates the glutes, the legs, the hamstrings, the calves, as well if you position and hold your body right. And the benefit of leg raises is that you can do them anywhere. You could do flutter kicks, right? You could do straight L-sit leg raises, right? You can do them this way. You can mix it up, add a lot of variety. And it's going to attack the core, but it's also going to hit various other muscles, including the legs. All right, so the next move will be bodyweight squats. This will be the foundation of your lower body routine. And that's going to hit everything from the glutes to the calves, to the hamstrings, to the quads. Mainly the quads, that's what it's going to do. And then the 5th move I'm going to put is burpees, which is a conditioning move. So this is the foundation, in my opinion, of bodyweight training. Now, if you want to optimize bodyweight training, you can't train like a bodybuilder, a power lifter. Well, you'll train probably a little bit more similar to a power lifter, power lifter or a CrossFitter. That type of modality, those type of modalities aren't efficient for bodyweight training. Here's why. The goal of bodyweight training should be to get your body to be able to move in unison. It shouldn't be to develop the most muscle mass, even though you can develop a lot of muscle mass. I have pictures of me when I was only doing bodyweight training where I've gotten pretty big. It's not to be the most maximum strength. It is to be very, very strong, but it's meant to, so it's not physique based or maximum strength based or endurance based. It is movement based. So if you want to be utilizing calisthenics as a training modality, as your primary training modality, your goal should be movements, and all of these things should be secondary, right? Movement-based training. So you still want to develop a great physique, right? You still want to be strong, right? You still want to have versatility, endurance, and accomplish all of these different things. But your primary goal should be to be able to move your body through space in a very versatile, liberated, and creative way. So let me tell you how to get there. All right, so we already had the 5 primary moves. So what you want to do is you want to take these 5 moves and follow the tradition of the elite calisthenics athletes. And what is the tradition of the elite calisthenics athletes? What do they talk about? 10 sets minimum. 10 sets minimum, right? That should be our goal, right? Why is 10 sets minimum? Because it's a high amount of sets. And what this focuses on, yes, we do a high amount of sets because of the simple fact that, I mean, with your body weight, it gets pretty easy after a long time. But because it's movement based, this allows for far more practice if you're doing your 10 set minimum. And what's your 10 set minimum be of? These 5 moves. Now you're thinking like, man, that's a lot. So you mean I need to do 10 sets of pull-ups, push-ups, leg raises, squats, and burpees? Well, yes. Why? Because that's going to teach you to train your body in unison and move better. Plus more practice. Now, because it's 10 sets, right? That's a lot. This is how I started. By the way, when I started doing calisthenics, I'm 5'7", 5'6", somewhere around there. When I started doing calisthenics, I was 200. I'm gonna just say 220 pounds at 5'7", which is grossly overweight. Grossly overweight, because for 5'7", you should be healthy weight is really around 150. 150. And I mean, if you're a bodybuilder or something like that, you can get up to 175, nothing over 180. So I was essentially 40 pounds overweight. Really 60 pounds. So 40 pounds overweight. So I'm pretty sure you're thinking like, okay, so you're telling me you was doing 10 sets minimum with 5 moves? Well, yes. But here's the kicker. I found a rep range that was manageable to get the maximum amount of practice. So what did I do? With pull-ups, each set I only did 2 to 4 pull-ups. right? With push-ups, I did 6 to 10 push-ups. Leg raises, 12 to 20. That's each leg. Squats, 8 to 12, sometimes 6. Burpees, 3 to 6. So these reps seem low, but you got to start somewhere. My goal was focused on movement and practice first, getting very good at the movements. See, if I would have started, I probably could have done, instead of doing 2 to 4, I probably could have done 6 to 7 pull-ups, but my form would break down, right? Because if you want to get better at movement-based and bodyweight training, you need your form to stay strong, even if you have to sacrifice reps. Because in the long term, this is going to make you more efficient at practice and movement-based. So I started with my rep ranges very, very, very low, right? And instead of having very, very high rep ranges, right, and completely exhausting and burning out the muscles and completely fatiguing them, I took the approach of having lower reps, higher volume, and higher training frequency, which is the exact training modality for bodyweight practitioner. Why? Because with movement-based training, you have to have more practice, as much practice as possible. And then as I did this for weeks at a time, as I got stronger, right, I just made the moves or added reps or did more volume. For the most part, I was more of a volume guy. I believe a volume is more efficient. So I didn't really add reps, I added sets. Because this gives you more practice, and you add in reps, more reps when you add in sets. But when you add reps, you don't add more sets. You just add more reps, right? So once again, because this is a practice-based, movement-based modality, it's better to add more sets and still get more reps than add more reps and not get more sets. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be more efficient in that. So I would say for the first 90 days, start off with 4 sessions a week with this type of training, right? Because this is not bodybuilding, this is not powerlifting, this is movement based. And then try to increase this. Well, let's say 3 to 4. 3 to 4. And then try to increase this to 5 to 6 sessions a week. Why do you want to do 5, 6 sessions? Because it's bodyweight training. If you want to get better at movement, you're going to need more volume. If you want to develop muscle with bodyweight training, you're going to need more volume. I pretty much understood earlier on, and I'm going to put this on the board. Okay, when training with weights, the optimal amount of training stimulus, right, per week, right, because your muscles grow 48 hours, the most optimal is 2 to 3 sessions per muscle group for growth, right? I knew that's pretty obvious. Well, if I'm not utilizing weights and I'm only utilizing my body weight, obviously I'm going to need to increase that, especially if I'm not training to complete fatigue, right? And actually breaking the muscle tissue down completely, right? Which is, by the way, is sort of difficult with bodyweight training, because a lot of the movements is compound based, and it does spread apart across the body, and the core and the glutes tend to take a lot of the brunt, the weight, the taxing of the movements in calisthenics and bodyweight exercises, and you will learn this as you train, that usually your core begins to take over as you, which is why you are able to continue to go on, even in instances where you actually totally fatigue the muscle completely. You're able to continue to go on because the core and the glutes usually take the brunt of the movements. So anyways, 2 to 3 sessions will be the traditional style of weightlifting or utilizing weights, because weights put far more stress on the body than bodyweight training. So I learned pretty quickly that I need to be doing, if not double this, a little bit more. So, but I said I'm gonna do 6 sessions, or grind to 6 sessions per week, at least 4 to 5. So if you want to get better at movement, remember, it's movement first, muscle second, and then everything else later. If you want to get better at movement, it's more ideal to do 6 sessions, right? Or 4 to 5 sessions, because that gives you more practice. The more you practice, the more efficient you're going to get at the movements, right? And you're going to stimulate a similar amount of muscle growth as if you were doing this, because usually when you're lifting weights, you're not really as concerned about movements. It's usually the reverse. The muscle is the primary focus and the movement is second, or the strength is the primary focus and then the muscle and the movement is not the primary focus. So this is a simple format of elite fundamental bodyweight training. Now, of course, this is the basics. I didn't go in depth into the next phases of training, but this right here is the foundation to get you started and to get you going to becoming, going from, I went from barely being able to do 10 pull-ups, right, to doing low tier or, low second, maybe 1 to 3 second front levers, and was still over 200 pounds from this type of training, right? I couldn't even do 10 pull-ups, let alone a front lever, right? But I went from that with this training modality. I went from barely being able to do 20 push-ups to being able to do 6 to 12 full range 1-arm push-ups within my first year. And I still wasn't over 200 pounds. Under 200 pounds, I mean. I did my first muscle up. It was a lot of kip in there. I did my first muscle up about 215 pounds, right, within my first year with this training modality. So I was already becoming elite in movement over 200 pounds. I was able to do, this is on video as well, I was able to do 16 pistol squats per leg at 205 pounds, right, from this training modality. And I got my first official handstand, I think I was 203. Yeah, I was doing, and then after I managed to get my official handstand, I was still doing handstands from 203 to 212 pounds. So I'm under 200 pounds now, but I got pretty elite in these categories within the, I said the first year, but I'm gonna say maybe the first 1 or 2 years, I was able to get these movements down packed and much more. So if you're considering body weight training, I would say give it a go. A couple other things that I can say about body weight training that I learned, not trying to compare it or make it seem more elite, because whatever training modality that you stick with that's going to keep you motivated and focused is what you should do. But I'll save that for the next video. Remember, dream big, work hard, live great, don't stop. It's your boy Sean Rock to the signing out. Peace.